Hello, I'm Eston. In this video I wanted to talk about the power of your words and this concept that came to me of true north versus magnetic north. So let's get into it. First of all, your words create your world. You know, there's a reason they call it spelling. When we speak, that is in fact an act of creation. So that's important. I'll come back to that. Keep that in mind. Now, true north versus magnetic north. True north, what I mean by true north is that this is kind of the ultimate vision of your life. You know, that big grand purpose, the great structure you're here to build. The reason you were born, essentially. Your reason for being. That's true north. And magnetic north is the way you move toward that every day. Magnetic north is less about a thing out there, an object out there, and more about the being that you're being in this moment, day to day, moment to moment. Magnetic north is like, how do I respond to this cashier? How do I greet my boss at work? All the little things in life. Following that thread of magnetic north is what ultimately leads you toward the true north. And it's funny for me, I still don't know what my true north is. I don't know really where I'm heading. But God has given me a compass in my heart. The intuition to know when something is right or wrong for me. Yes, as in yes, this position, you know, this person belongs in my life, and no, this does not. Thank you. And I think such a big part of aligning with that magnetic north and therefore true north is taking close account of how you're speaking, how you're using your words every day, how you're speaking with others, and more importantly, how you're speaking with yourself. That's where the rubber really meets the road of spirituality. Because let me talk about brainwaves. So there are the four main types of brainwaves: beta, alpha, theta, and delta. And beta is just the standard mode of thinking, just critical thinking, responding to the environment around us. And we spend about 90% of our time there every day. The alpha brainwaves is when you're in either a daydreaming sort of place or a meditation. Theta is like deep meditation, and delta is the brainwave that your brain is when you're in deep sleep. And the words we speak play such a big part in which brainwave state we're in. When we're just trying to solve problems, get things done, talk to people, arrange everything, we're in the beta state. And in the beta state, you have the least level of consciousness of any of these brainwave states. The reason meditation is so important is because it allows you to train yourself to access these other brainwave states. Mostly the alpha state. The alpha state is very useful because you are still awake, but you have this peace of mind. You have this remembrance of, you know, the stillness that you've gotten to in meditation or in any relaxed state of mind you've been in. When you say things like, I don't know where my next check is going to come from to pay rent, or I don't know what I'm doing with my life, or where are all the people that should be in my life? Why am I so lonely? All of this kind of thinking comes from the beta state, and we have to break out of that if we want to level up. There's really no time to waste. If you want results on your spiritual path, you're going to have to start confronting these things and changing the way you live, speak, and act moment to moment. These thoughts that have been recurring on a loop for years, decades even, these things keep us in the beta state and keep us small. And then as spiritual people, we bang our head against the wall and wonder why nothing is happening for us and why life doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It's not happening for no reason. It's not just random how the universe keeps dicking you over. It's because on some level, the words you speak, or even the thoughts you think, are claiming that reality. See, it's all about what are you claiming. One funny example that comes to mind was sitting around the campfire with the boys, and the smoke was constantly going up in my eyes. I would, walk over here, smoke over here in my face. Walk over here, smoke over here in my face. And I said, oh, I guess the smoke's following me all night. And it sure did, for hours. It was hilarious watching me do circles around the fire as this kept happening to me. And that's a silly little example, but it's pointing to the direct truth that this is how the universe works. We are co-creators of this experience. We get to live exactly the lives that we choose. And it's easy to convince ourselves that the circumstances are dictating our life. But that always neglects the fact that we have free will, and we choose how we respond. And our response to life is where creation truly happens. And just because you're a spiritual person doesn't mean you have more creative power. Everyone has the same exact creative power. Most people just are using it unconsciously. So what does this really look like day to day? Practically, this is why meditation is such an important thing, because what it looks like as you go through your day is constantly redirecting, remembering your chosen state of being every time these circumstances try to pull you out of it. It's like a mantra, just returning to I am, I am, I am. I am present. Every time one of these distractions or old patterns, old beliefs, old thoughts come up, claim something new. If you're tired of what you have right now, claim something new. Ask yourself questions like, what am I doing every day that is going to add to my excitement and passion? That is going to add to this state of being, to this new person that I want to become? Ask yourself a question like, if money was no object and everything was provided for, what would I be doing with my time? These things are how you align with that magnetic north. These are how you start aligning with who you actually want to be, instead of living out the old stories that you're so sick and tired of living out, and step into the new reality that you actually desire. I think that's about all I got. I'll end this with a mantra from one of my favorites. My words create my world, and my world is bright. So as I speak, let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. Peace.